If you haven't been feeling like yourself, this is the perfect sign that you are meant for one of the greatest shifts of your life, especially at the time in which you are watching this video. If you haven't been feeling like yourself, you have been feeling lost, you have been feeling like you don't know where you're headed or what your purpose is, you cannot recognize your own actions and your own decisions, this is because you are in an identity transition. And this identity transition requires you to embody a version of yourself you don't know yet, and your attachment to a past version of yourself that doesn't serve you anymore is stopping you from that growth. And that's why you're feeling in this way. So in this video, I'm going to share with you why it is so normal that you're feeling this way, what is it that you're meant to learn, and how is it that you're meant to be transformed throughout this transition, and the ways in which you can go back to yourself, but not to that past version of yourself that didn't serve you anymore, but to a future version of yourself that is going to allow you to expand to levels that your mind cannot even grasp at the moment. Believe me, I am creating this video because I have been there, because I have felt that way. And now that I am in the other side, I can see so clearly what were the things that were keeping me stuck and why I was feeling so lost. But the second in which I came back into alignment, the new path started to open in ways that honestly felt like divine guidance. The one thing I had to realize, and this is going to be the first step for you, the one thing that really shocked me was realizing that my attachment to certainty, to a sense of certainty based on familiarity, was keeping me from moving forward. That attachment to a version of myself I didn't want anymore, but meant safety for me because it was in a known place, was keeping me from going and exploring these new pathways that were in the unknown. And what happens in the unknown? Many people say that they are afraid of the unknown because it's a place that it's uncertain. You cannot be afraid of the unknown because you have no idea what's there, and you literally cannot be afraid of something that you don't know yet. So you are afraid of repeating a past version in that unknown. You are afraid of a known experience, a known pain, a known challenge that could happen in the unknown, but that is keeping you also from finding all the expansion, new doors, new opportunities that are available for you in that new space. What normally keeps you in the known, even at the cost of your future self, is your need of control. Your fear is making you face this new reality, this new version of you that's being called forward, not only for yourself, but also because the world needs an upgraded and updated version of you. There are new ways in which we're all expanding as humanity, and your most authentic version, with your gifts, with everything that you have to share, with your experiences, is required to fulfill a mission and a purpose for the collective and for yourself, your soul. Who you are and why you decided to come into this earth is being called forward. Now, when you're feeling like you are so attached to that certainty, to that safety, obviously because there are parts of your inner child, there are parts of you that were rejected, there are parts of you that have been through pain, and that it's normal that you want to protect yourself. How beautiful is fear that wants to protect you. But that attachment is creating this sense of control over everything in your life, that you prefer to be stuck in a place where you can control everything around you instead of going to a place where you can be surprised, greatly surprised by the universe. Now, your need of control that's keeping you stuck is a need of control of the environment, of the people, of the opportunities. But the right way to embrace change is to control the one thing that you can control, which is yourself, which is your mindset, which is the way in which you face reality, which is your identity. In a world that is so uncertain, because right now, even if you knew what's in front of you, the world is changing in such a fast pace that nobody knows what's going to happen. Everyone is living in uncertainty. What we're going to see in the next 3 years, in the next year, in the next 5 years, nobody can imagine. So, in a place where you're faced with so much uncertainty, the one thing we need to be certain of is who we are, is where we stand, is that alignment between what I think, what I say, what I feel, and what I do. That certainty of knowing that you are showing up from a true place, from an authentic place, it's going to allow you to face whatever comes around. For me, it's knowing that and recognizing that through all the challenges that I have been through, I have always held my hand and I have always taken myself to the other side, that I'm not letting myself go. And self esteem, self love is literally the reputation that we have with ourselves. So many people think that they are not going to face challenges and they are not going to face trouble, or they are trying to keep themselves protected. But in reality, that lowers your self esteem because you haven't been holding yourself through expansion, through you haven't been holding a structure that is powerful enough and strong enough to hold your own strength, stretching to that higher version of self. So for me, it's knowing the more that I go and I embrace the challenges, the more that self love grows. Because now I know that my relationship to self doesn't depend on the results that I get from an experience. It just depends on the knowing that no matter what, I'm going to hold myself through those experiences. The knowing that everything that I am experiencing around is reaffirming the ideas of beliefs that I have about myself. Everything that I see around is reaffirming the idea that I have of self. If I believe I am a valuable person, if I believe that I am a high value human, I'm going to see all around me opportunities for me to share that value with the rest of the people. If I believe I am here and I am meant to do great things, I'm going to see all around me, even in the challenges, opportunities for me to bring a transformation that is global, that is massive. If I believe that I'm not valuable enough, if I believe that I cannot give or share anything with the world, I'm going to see all around me challenges, difficulties, people, spaces that are going to make me shrink in order to fit a place. The reality I am experiencing around me is a mirror. Everything by a law of the universe works as a mirror, as within, so without, as upwards, so downwards. There's a very beautiful teaching that I learned very recently because as I was working on my self identity, I was also seeing what is the lifestyle, what are the outcomes, what are the experiences that belong to that version of myself. And somebody asked me, well, isn't that focusing a lot on the surface things? Isn't that connecting a lot with the materialistic things? And then what I realized is that the heaven and earth, the spiritual realm and the human realm are mirrors as well, just as we are to each other and within and with reality. So, yes, heaven gives a purpose and a meaning to earth because if I wouldn't have this connection that I have with my spirituality, with my essence, this life wouldn't make any sense. I wouldn't feel fulfilled. And that's what happens to many people that can achieve so many things in this reality, but they lack a connection with their source and they can never feel fulfilled. So just as heaven gives a meaning to earth, just as the spiritual realm gives a meaning to the human realm, also the human realm allows the spiritual to be expressed. Also, earth allows heaven to be expressed, just as happens in the body. The mind is heaven and the body is earth. So the body allows the mind to be experienced, but the mind, that connection with source, the intuition, the essence, gives a meaning to that what you can experience as a human. Misalignment happens when you allow the humanly, the body experiences, the materialistic experiences to drive your meaning of life. So your mind starts being a victim of everything that you're seeing around you. And the way in which you come back into alignment, that's why you're not feeling like yourself. That's why you're feeling so disconnected. You come back into alignment when you realize that the body and the ego, the human expression, is a servant of the mind, is a servant of the connection, of that essence, of that purpose that is calling you. I know that this might be a season that feels challenging for you, but in reality it's a door, it's a threshold that is pulling you to quantum jump into a reality where you can be so much more expressed. And that is the ultimate goal and the ultimate purpose of the spiritual realm, for us to be much more expressed, for us to be expanded. Because when you expand, when you allow a new identity to be embodied by you, you're also allowing the universe to allow to expand as it is experiencing itself in a way that can only be experienced through you. You and me, we can go through the same experience. We can be sharing the same space, eating the same thing. We can be dancing the same song. And my experience and your experience is going to be totally different based on the past experiences we have, the meanings that we create about reality, the perspective that we have at the moment, and the ripple effect of the thoughts that are created in that moment and the impact that they can create. And it's just the way in which everything is formed. And I am sharing this with you because if you are feeling disconnected from yourself now that we're ending 2025, this is a year number 9, which means the closure of a 9 years cycle. And for 2026, we're seeing the opening of a whole new cycle that is asking for you to step up. that is asking for you to step forward, to embrace your uniqueness, to embrace the reason why you're here on earth. And there are so many tools that I could be sharing with you and that I can share with you about how to expand your message, about how to put yourself out there. There's so many structures, frameworks that I can give you to apply literally today. And I do know that my main message and what you need to listen today is the homework for you to embrace and embody a new identity, to make decisions from that new identity, to let go of the attachment to a past version of self and allow with courage and with love, with resilience, that new expression that wants to be embodied by you. And why is it that I share the main principle of identity before I share the tools? Because a person will have all the tools, but if you're staying stuck in a past identity, you're not going to use any of them. And a person that can shift the identity, just as it's almost like this wave that it's happening in the collective, this wave that it's happening in consciousness. If you don't, if you do surf it, it can take you so far beyond in your journey. But if you don't, you can get trapped in it and it's going to be so messy for you. And that's probably what you're feeling right now, because it's this wave of energy that wants to push you forward and you're fighting it. The second in which you ride it, the second in which you decide to enjoy it, the second in which you decide to flow with trust and enter in that flow state, it's going to propel you forward with the opportunity of advancing and collapsing times that we haven't had ever in life. This is the moment in which you can transform your life literally. If you change your identity today, in a month you could be experiencing a reality that you never imagined. So again, when the person shifts the identity, that is the person that's going to find the tools and is going to know how to use the tools to bring themselves forward in their personal life, in their purpose, and in the impact that they're creating for the rest of the world. 5 steps I'm going to share with you to come back to yourself is: first, letting go of the attachment to certainty, saying bye to an identity that is not serving you anymore. Second, coming into alignment with yourself. You're going to write down, what is it that I'm thinking, what is it that I'm saying, what is it that I'm feeling, and how is it that I'm acting, how is it that I'm behaving, and where is the incoherence. When those things come into coherence, you're going to feel more yourself than you have ever felt in your life. Third, bring back in order heaven and earth, spiritual and human. Bring back in order mind and body. Your body is a servant, a loyal, beautiful servant of the mind. What is the beauty that you are creating with your actions? What is the place where you're headed? And allow your body, allow your human expression to take you there, not the opposite. Fourth, remember to come always from a place of desire and never from a place of need. Every single time that you feel like you need something, it is a future version of yourself that is talking backwards to you, telling you what's possible. But when you feel that you're needing it, you are coming from a frequency of lack, and that is making you shrink. When you allow yourself to desire, you're telling your subconscious mind and you're communicating to your soul that you deserve this, that you're worthy of this, that this is just a match in this reality to who you are within. And the fifth one, be very clear on the identity that you are embracing. Step into that identity and make every single choice and decision based on that identity. A choice and a decision is different. A choice is when you have multiple options and you decide for one, but then you can go back to the other and the other. When you make a decision of which is your path and where are you moving forward, you're going to know exactly what are the things, people, opportunities, experiences, and spaces that are going to take you closer to that, and which are the ones that are driving you away from them. Every single time that you say yes to something, you're saying no to something else. And also, you need to start saying no to things that belong to a past version of yourself in order for the doors to those things that are a full body yes, full in yes, open for yourself. I have a gift to share with you. I have a 40 minutes mastermind that I normally share with people on how to rewire your nervous system, because when we're embracing a new identity, it is important that our nervous system works as the framework that can sustain and hold that expansion. So sometimes when we are evolving so fast, and if you're watching these videos because you probably are, when we're evolving so fast, it feels overwhelming for our nervous system because it has never been extended to that capacity. So what we need to do before we shift into that new identity is go back to our nervous system and regulate the safety, expanding capacity in your nervous system. in order for it to be much more flexible. Imagine like a structure. The more flexible it is, the more that it can hold. It could be like a very, very strong and rigid framework, but the moment in which you put a lot of weight on it, and the moment in which you allow more things to come in, it's going to break and it's going to be so painful. So it's better to have a system and a framework that it's flexible to hold you as you're expanding. It's like in yoga. Yes, you're going to move to a point in which you feel and you know that you are stretching, but it doesn't serve you if you stretch so much that you break yourself. That's going to hurt you. So the thing that we're going to do is just as within the nervous system, so without purpose and action, we're going to create a new identity that fulfills your inner world, and from there creates an impact in the outer world. So I'm going to leave the link for that down here, and I would love to know what is it that you're being called forward. You can also find me on Instagram at elizabethramirez.co, and I'm excited, so excited to see what the new year brings for you and what this new season of life looks like.